out there for you and you do it on your own. Option 2, we do it together step by step. Let's see, 1 or a 2, 1 or a 2, 1 or a 2, 1 or a 2, 1 or a 2. Okay, so the majority has spoken, and that is that I just put it out there and you go. Now, if you were one of my 2 people who would rather go through it step by step, I'm happy to do that with you on an individual basis, okay? But let me just put this all out there because you got 2 things. Today is a Friday and it's a Genius Day, okay? We haven't checked in on our Genius Project EOP in a while, so it's time that we open that sucker back up because you do have a deadline for today. And I'm trying something new. Usually I don't do this, but this morning in Google Classroom, I actually broke out what it is that you need to do and posted it as something, as its own post in the Genius Project topic with all the resources that I want you to use. So if you go into Google Classroom, let's just look at the screen together so that I can show you exactly where it is. Now, the thing about me giving you everything at once is that you're going to have to pay really close attention to me for about 7 minutes. And then you don't have to listen to me for the rest of the class period, okay? But if you're not paying attention for these 7 minutes, what's going to happen is I'm going to say go, and you're going to turn to your peer, and you're going to say, what are we supposed to do? Okay? And I would rather you not be lost. All right, so in Google Classroom, the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to scroll down to the Genius Project. And you have your EOP, but what I did right here was break out this professional voicemail task. And in the instructions, I gave you all of the materials that you need. And in the description, I broke out exactly what you need to do. Okay? So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go through this phone call skills lesson. Now, if we were doing this together, I would open up this lesson and I would walk through it step by step with you, but we're not doing it together, so you're going to have to read this on your own. You're also then going to review how to make effective business calls and how to leave a professional voicemail on your own. Now, why are we doing this task? It's important that we understand why we're doing it, right? This is tied to your Genius Project EOP, but the reason we're doing this is actually to give you some real-world skills to get comfortable making phone calls. Okay? It's a super important skill. There is no way to get through adulting without being able to pick up the phone and make professional phone calls. Okay? The thing about making professional phone calls is generally when you make a professional phone call, people are going to be willing to help you. In most cases, they're getting paid to do just that. Okay? Now, I have some adult friends whose names I won't name, but one of them is my neighbor just right next door in this classroom right here. And she's a full-grown adult who's afraid to make a phone call. When we hang out with our kids, if we order pizza or something, she always makes me call to order the pizza because she gets so nervous making phone calls. One time she was trying to make a hotel reservation. It was getting all messed up online, so she needed to call. And I had to call for her. She gets nervous, anxious making phone calls, which I understand, but it's a skill that we need to practice. It's important. Okay, so that's really why we're doing this. Let's get you comfortable so that you can get the results that you need. Not necessarily tied to your Genius projects, but for some of you, it may be helpful to be able to pick up the phone, right? Maybe you want to host an event or something, and you've been sending emails, but nobody is responding to you. Picking up the phone is always more effective. Super easy to ignore an email. Not as easy to ignore a phone call, okay? We're going to go through those 3 resources, the lesson, and then how to, okay? The 4th piece is important because it gives you instructions on exactly what it is you need to do. That's this one right here, the professional voicemail. Now, here's the task, and this is where you definitely want to make sure you're paying attention. On this assignment, it walks you through exactly what you need to do, but in a nutshell, you have to call my number and leave me a voicemail. Okay? My number is on the paper. It's not my actual number. It's a Google voicemail number.